Okay, we are back rolling live for our 2 days of coverage here at the Jolt Conference in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. And next up, and I've been really looking forward to this, is we have Meg Carpenter, who is the co-founder and CEO of Ficomm. Hey,
Hi,
thanks
Chuck.
for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this. So as I was joking around with Meg earlier, and it's actually not a joke, I love doing these things for goRIA, fueled of course by Investment News, because I get to come to these conferences on their dime and due diligence for my firm, which is Sovereign Financial.
And learn. I love that.
What a great deal.
Right?
So am I producing content? I suppose, but am I doing due diligence for yours truly and Sovereign? You bet I am. So just to kind of frame this a little bit. So we have just, at my shop at least, almost finished a major upgrade to our operations, tech stack, integrations, data warehouse, data lake, all that good stuff. Next year, we're going to add one more thing. So we are essentially a tuck-in solution, as we discussed, but we're very niche, right? So if someone is an advisor that uses specifically eMoney or Right Capital, all of our systems are built around for that. And we provide that to them as a platform. Next year, we're going to add on the idea of a lead pipeline. Mm-hmm. So we want to figure out how to essentially feed all these hungry mouths, right? They all want leads, good ones, and we're going to build that in internally, and that brings us to what you do. So let me do my due diligence, because we are going to look to hire someone for this next year. How can I best build a pipeline for these different advisors? And for us, they're all over the country.
Sure. I mean, I think from an enterprise perspective, which is what you've built, right, is thinking about what part do the advisors play in generating leads. And I think the interesting part about today's environment is that having distributed accountability across advisors, meaning empowering them with the resources, the coaching, and the tools that they need to build influence in their own local markets, is what we're seeing to work the best. So I think from first and foremost, I would think about it from a coaching perspective. So how are you empowering each of those advisors in their own local, whether it's a geography or a specific ideal client profile that they serve? How are you empowering them to know and understand how they can create a lead pipeline? It can be quite expensive to do it at the corporate level. And so we see that from large platforms and aggregators across the country who are leveraging lots of different ways to acquire leads, buy leads, work with the custodial referral programs. It can be really expensive. The cost per lead and the cost to convert leads is going up when you're trying to do it at the enterprise level. When you push it down to the advisor level, that's really where we're seeing accelerated growth. So it's sort of, I think the first consideration is the difference between sort of that like enterprise growth mindset versus the advisor growth mindset and what works for your business.
Interesting. So one thing, and let me just kind of throw out what I am percolating on, right? And I percolate on things for years before execution, as a lot of people will tell you. So what I like is remote work. We have fully adopted it. Sovereign, we are fully remote, right? We have our chief compliance officer is in Massachusetts, our trader is in Michigan. Our head of operations is in Michigan, our new trader is in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. So all that kind of stuff. So we love remote work. What I had in mind is doing some sort of leveraging the social media thing and trying to generate leads from prospective clients that are looking to work remote. Is that happening? Is that outlandish?
For consumers who are looking to work remote?
Yeah, consumers that want to work remote.
I mean, anything's possible, Chuck.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of the beauty of today, is anything is possible. I think one of the most important things you want to consider when you're thinking about generating leads online, whether it's coming in through your website, searching for you on social or otherwise, is that today it's consumers are taking a very omni-channel approach to how they're finding and hiring financial advisors. So at Ficomm, we have some consumer data that suggests that referrals are declining in popularity on the consumer side. We're not seeing that yet matched up in how advisors are growing on from an organic growth perspective. But what we are seeing is that consumers today are building trust online, validating online, and making decisions online. So if you want to be building a digital lead funnel, you have to be thinking about how you're showing up across channels. So when someone searches for you, when they interact and engage with you on your website, when they interact and engage with you on social media, are you showing up in a way that is going to be immediately resonant and compelling to their needs? So if they're looking to go work remote and they're searching for that, how are you top of mind? Like, how are you and your advisors top of mind? So I think the omni-channel approach is important, and the best way to understand where you need to be as an advisor sort of in this omni-channel environment is to really, really know and understand your ideal client. Yeah. So getting to know, what their worldviews are, their beliefs, their pain points, what keeps them up at night, what they read, what they listen to, who they talk to, who they ask for guidance from. how they take their coffee, what they do for fun,
Okay.
like psychographics, not just demographics. That will then inform what channels you and your advisors need to be showing up on in order to create that pipeline.
Okay, so in 2 minutes or less, how do I do that? Jokingly, but give me some broad strokes, because that does sound interesting. I mean, I assume you're joking about how do you take your coffee, but clearly...
No, we do that. When we help our clients to build their ideal client profiles, we get that specific.
Really?
Yes, we do. And we
Okay.
we speak to our clients' ideal clients. So ask your clients. I mean, that's sort of the first step, if I can sum it up in 2 minutes, is to think strategically first instead of tactically. Most advisors in this space go to a tactics first approach. So they come to a conference like this, which is chock full of ideas, and they go back to the office and say, so-and-so is doing this for SEO, or doing this on social media, or this on Facebook. There's a Facebook ads session here, so I need to be doing it. You need to think strategically first. You need to really understand, why do you do what you do? Who do you do it for? What is the change that you seek to create in your business? Your marketing decisions will intuitively flow from that baseline understanding of who the business is. So that's number one, strategy first. Once you have your strategy, you've got your messaging and your ideal client profile, because those are all components of good strategy, then you'll know, okay, based on the strategy work, my clients are showing up on they're remote, so they've got some extra time. They watch YouTube in the afternoons. So they're going to be on YouTube, so I need to be creating videos on YouTube. I asked my top clients, they validated that. They told me they would watch up to 3 videos a week.
Wow, okay.
So that's where I need to be. But this all should be grounded in the reality of your business and the reality of your existing top clients. Marketing sometimes can become far too theoretical and esoteric. And
I'll be honest, that's always been a little bit of my complaint on this. Not complaint, but frustration, I suppose.
I understand. Because it becomes too much about what we want to build and what we want to be. But if that's not grounded in who you are, you're not going to connect with people.
Yeah.
And so we ground all of our strategy in who are your current top 10% of your clients. If you could clone them, you would have a wildly profitable and viable business. Yeah. And then we get to know them intimately, start creating content for them. You learn what works, and then you turn it on across channels. You're going to have a much greater and faster degree of success than trying to take more of that tactics first approach. I should be doing this, and I should be doing it for this person. That's going to take you a long time to find success.
Okay, so we're going to go a little bit over here, because again, I'm kind of gathering information for me, and I'm just being a little selfish, but
Sure.
I do want to understand this. And we did touch upon this earlier, and this does touch upon the whole idea of going from, you're getting a little bit of a sense of the energy here, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I
you're
love
getting the
setup.
live background. It's perfect timing.
It's fantastic. Yeah, look at, oh my gosh. Okay, so the last point I do want to get at here, and I'm glad we have our cans on.
Me too.
Is the following. So, marketing, I do feel sometimes tends to be very like, very flowy and flowery and esoteric. How do I know what exactly is my ROI and what's working and what's not?
Well, the most important thing to start with is you have to create a baseline. So you have to understand what your baseline metrics and KPIs are today. That should be part of your initial strategy.
Yeah.
So you need to be looking at all of your baseline marketing KPIs, which you can gather from tools like SEMrush and other social media tools. So you need to understand sort of baseline, and then you need to make sure that those baseline numbers are growing. Very simple, you're smiling, right? But it's not about following, I need to have a certain click-through rate, or my website visitor, my website stick rate, bounce rate needs to be this. It's not about that. It's about setting a baseline and improving on your baseline in the areas that you need to support the strategy. So that's number one. You need to set your baseline metrics, and you need to make sure that those metrics are tracking in a positive direction. That's one leading indicator that your marketing is working. Okay. The second thing, though, is this is a very business mindset that I take, which is if you're going to make an additional investment into your marketing, you need to get, as a business owner, a return on that capital, right? Sure. So if last year, I'm just going to use simple numbers. If last year you spent $100,000 on your marketing, and you're going to increase that spend, you want to get a 2x return on that increased spend. So if you're going to spend an additional $50,000 on marketing, now you're spending $150,000, you want $100,000 to drop to your bottom line.
Yes.
So your profit from that marketing investment should be, and your bottom line profit should increase by $100,000 that year, because you're spending the additional $50,000 on marketing. Otherwise, why would you make that investment? If you're not going to get a 2x return on capital as a business owner, you would probably say, well, I'm going to go invest it somewhere else. So it's a very counter, non-marketing answer. That's much more of a business owner answer.
But I love that answer.
But that's like the reality of it. And that's where I think marketing can become tricky in this space, because you can hear a lot of things that are, like I said, very aspirational, very overly technical, overly jargon. It's like, listen, we're all business owners. You're a business owner, I'm a business owner, your advisors are business owners. It's like, let's talk about the real business sense here. Do what works only for your business. Track only what matters. Don't worry about vanity metrics, and make sure that you're seeing the drop to the bottom line.
Okay. That is a great place to put a pin in it for today. So Meg Carpenter from Ficomm, thank you so much for this.
My pleasure. Thanks,
Appreciate
Jack.
it. I appreciate all the free advice too.
Sure.
As does the audience. Okay, so this is number 2. We have 3 more coming today. As I was joking earlier with Robert Sophia, my only complaint about this conference is there's too many A-listers, yourself included, for me to talk to. So I'm going to be a busy guy, but I'm looking forward to all this content. We'll be back in 45 minutes. Thanks for joining us. And Meg, thanks again.
Thank you.